Page 289. Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sucharu Bhakta Mandalam, Sukarnaratna Kundalam, Suchajitam Gachandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sudhigane Pankajam Shiki Shikandamodajam Ananga Koti Mohanam Namami Nandanandanam Sudhasikajam Bhopikam Svachandadanta Bhaktikam Navambudam Kachikanam Namami Nandanandanam Karena Venurantitam Yatikarindra Bhajitam Sukudapita Shokanam Namami Nandanandanam Sripangadera Sundaram Nachajuti Sudakaram Amurya Ratna Bhushanam Namami Nandanandanam Sukandaram Nasorupam Muru Virajikosukam Surashrivatsalancanam Namami Nandanandanam Vrindavana Sunadaram Nivasam Gavasasam Surendra Garbhamochanam Namami Nandanandanam Prajangana Surayatam Sada Sukha Pradayakam Jaganmana Bhavoganam Namami Nandanandanam Nandanandanashtakam Padenyasharayanvitam Padetavakimustaram Pavetarangiyukakam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Muninda Vinda Pandite Shiloka Shoka Harini Prasana Bhakta Pankade Nikunja Bhuvirasini Sajemya Parunandini Pratilina Sunu Sangate Karatari Sasiyama Sivaka Kasha Bhajanam Ashoka Vishavari Vicharamanda Pasite Prabhana Bhana Bhalava Prabharunandi Komare Varabhaya Surakare Pramuta Sampradanaye Karatari Sasiyama Vivaka Saksha Bhajanam Anangaranga Mangala Kasanga Mangura Bhuvam Savidavam Sasamgamam Viganta Vana Bhajanam Nirantaram Vashishritam Kaditi Nanda Mandali Karatari Sasiyama Vivaka Saksha Bhajanam Satituvana Champakam Pratita Gora Vigrahe Mukha Prabha Parashta Koti Chara Sindhu Mandali Vichitra Chitra Sankara Chakora Shama Lochane Karatari Sasiyama Prajastamandahasya Guna Guna Sogya Sangari Karakari Siyamam Vipakatakya Bhajanam Vindala Bala Bhalari Karanga Ranga Dolate Vatana Nasya Dolani Lalotana Malokani Kalanulan Milan Manogyam Namo Anashike Karakari Siyamam Vipakatakya Bhajanam Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Biyaluka Tadavanam Paramishtamadhyam Tato Jutagoga Sudamdamunicam Yumamidanta Parambodayugena Satam Kadeta Pushpashakava Shirikam Kakata Sitagaivadamo Dharambhati Bhara
Agyanam Timirandasya Gyanam Janasavakaya Chaksurulitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Chandraya Radhikaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhataya Namo Namaha Yam Parayantam Manuketam Apetaprityam Dvaipayano Viraka Taruvajuhava Putreti Tanvayataya Taravabhaneru Samsarvabhutayaya Munimanatosmi Bhaktyarina Aprananashay Chirkasya Kamadi Karangamadi Kripamanitam Sharanam Prapadam Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavarasmi Tavarasmi Najivami Tambina Iti Vidyarate Tamayavam Charanti Angashamalim Chatari Mandi Pritenti Varam Jajam Jagurarochi Samvitatam Patam Varasrashriya Vrindanya Vilasinam Vidyasatamabhiyamadam Radhaskandamiveshito Tvalapujam Jayam Damodaram Jayam Damodaram Hadevika Kubharagadhanaya Javacha Yache Nipatyavuridam Kavavaruhadati Asya Prasaram Udasya Janasya Kritva Gandharike Kavaganem Karanam Videvi. First, I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the Lord's feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pai. Astotra Satchi Shrimad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the Lord's feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pai. Astotra Satchi Shrimad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj, to our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Vedanta Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates, to all the assembled devotees, and to the assembled devotees, Diksha Guru Hussain, Shiksha Guru Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Bhan Maharaj. Here we are, where are we? We are in Girdi Dhari, Gaudiya Mutt at Govardhan. Are you ready today? Could do it in there? Or not today? We could do it another day. Okay. So today we're doing the Vraja Parikrama, and we're going to be visiting very, very sacred holy places. One is Uddhav Kund, and one is Kushan Shiropa, and the main one is Radhakund, and all the places in Radhakund. So let's start. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It's actually all very close. It's all walking distance today. And so here we are. If you're coming from Radhakund, it's on the right side. If you're coming to Radhakund from the mud, it's on the left side. Very beautiful sarovar or pond here. And at that time it was just forest, not a beautiful temple like it is now. So let us roll in the dust here and perform Achman. You remember how to perform Achman? We take bath by mantra. 3 zips, Om Keshavaya Namaha. And what are we praying when we say Keshavaya Namaha?
Krishna decorates Srimati Radhika's hair.
But that's not what we're saying.
Oh.
That's what happens.
Oh.
That's what it means. But what are we saying?
I offer myself wholly unto Krishna who decorates Srimati Radhika's hair.
Oh, no. You can add that.
Oh, the one of the pastimes entering into the heart.
Yes. So, O Kusham Sarovara, you were witness to the, or we even are witness to the pastimes that were performed here with Radha and Krishna and the Sakis. So please make my heart so pure that you can manifest these pastimes in my heart. So Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Naranaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha, Om Vishnuvaya Namaha. Huh? We're walking backwards?
No, you're not, because you start Radhakund Parikrama from Radhakund, then you go to Kusumasura.
Oh, after?
Oh, you're walking from here to Radhakund, yeah.
So we're going.
Whenever
Yeah.
I do Radhakund Parikrama, it always starts from Radhakund Parikrama.
Oh, when I went with Gurudev and the devotees, they started from the mud. I guess it's
So you're,
different.
I get it, okay, so
It's different in different
Udakund,
years.
then Udakund, then Radhakund, then Kusumasura.
Onward back. Well, we're already here.
Okay. I also have it the counter way.
Right. Okay. Well, we saw it on the way, so we thought we'd drop in. Okay, so you all did Achman. Would you like to take a dip? Everybody dip in, spin around, and you don't exactly know what pastimes to meditate on until you come out and hear. But you can meditate on whatever you've heard. So, Kushama means flowers, like Valapa Kushamanjali. It's a bunch of flower-like, often flowers of my heart. Das is praying to Radhika for services. So Kushama means flowers. Kushama, Sarovara means pond.
Flower pond?
No, it's a flowers. Thanks for mentioning that. Previously, at the time of Krishna, the whole place was surrounded by beautiful trees and creepers full of all kinds of flowers like lilies and
Parikrama?
flowers.
You say Kushama Parikrama?
All around Kushama Sarovara,
Sarovara.
there were trees. And if you have the eyes, you can see the trees now. Lotus, lilies, bailey, chameli, juhi, champak. Do you know what they are in English? Like jasmine, malika flowers. Like we have jasmine now, just by the gate. So in the Krishna Bhavanamrita, very beautiful pastimes are enacted and described, were enacted and described in Krishna Bhavanamrita. Krishna Bhava was written by Srila Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur, one of Gurudev's favorite acharyas for his commentaries. And Bhavanamrita, Bhav, Krishna Bhav, the Bhav of Krishna consciousness. Actually, if you know that ISKCON International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In Hindi, it's Krishna Bhavanamrita Sangha, Antarashtriya Sangha. So Krishna Bhavanamrita, it's actually for that. Just like Prabhupada said, what is the definition of ISKCON? Krishna, what is the verse? Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati, which is that if you perform Vaidhi Bhakti, the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti, for millions of births, you won't attain Braj Bhakti. If that Vaidhi Bhakti is performed under the guidance of Rasika Bhaktas, and it's performed with the aim of entering Raganuga Bhakti with Bhajans and Vraja and Krishna, with a greed to have that relationship as maidservant of Srimati Radhika, then one can enter Braj Bhakti Ras, that relationship, yes.
What is Braj and Ragun mean?
Braj is where you are now,
Like
in
devotion?
India, in the holy place where Krishna appeared.
Oh, okay. Is there a specific type of devotion though?
No, Braj is a place.
Oh.
Maybe Bob.
Braj Bhakti Ras,
Oh,
there's Bhakti,
Bhav Bhakti.
Bhav Bhakti.
What does Bhav mean?
Bhav means emotion, transcendental emotions,
Okay.
hair standing on end.
Alright, cool. No worries.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, no, you're new and everything's strange, everything's new. Rita just jot it down. So, in the Krishna Bhavanamrita, the nectar of Krishna consciousness, describes that one day Srimati Radhika was with her friends picking flowers. And all of a sudden, as usual, all of a sudden, Krishna arrives and he says, "Who's there?" And then Radhika says, "Nobody." "No, tell me honestly, who's there?" This is the sweet nothings of a boy who's trying to track the girl. He's not saying anything interesting or important, but it's just to have a conversation. So tell me honestly, who are you? "Nobody." "You're speaking in a very crooked way." "Oh yeah, and you're speaking in a very straight way." "No, I'm asking you who you are." "Don't you know?" "And then what are you doing?" "I'm picking flowers for the sun god, for worship." "Have you received permission to pick flowers here?" "There's no need to get permission to pick flowers. We've never had to get permission from anybody." "Well, then I've caught a thief today. I was wondering who's stealing flowers every day. I'm going to have to punish you straight away." "Oh, really? Well, since when have you become the proprietor and the master of this flower garden? Have you planted a single flower here?" "Well, have you watered a single flower here?" "No, rather, you and your friends just come here with thousands, hundreds of thousands of cows, and you just smash all the flowers here. We're the ones who planted the flowers, and we water the flowers. Look, don't defame a pious, righteous person like me. Now I shall teach you a good lesson." Narada was smiling. "Ahaha." It's a Hindi phrase. "Ahaha." "Oh, really? You are a highly pious and righteous person, are you? Well, you killed a woman just after your birth. And then you lied to your mother from childhood. Everything you said was a lie. You stole the butter from all the elderly gopis' houses. And then finally, when you got a little older, you stole the clothes from the unmarried gopis who were doing austerities in the Jamuna. A few days ago, you just killed a calf. So this is the extent of your pious, righteous nature." So hearing this retort, and he just kept being defeated and defeated. So finally he just scratched his head, not knowing what to say back. And so then Marumangal, who gets to be, because he's a Priyanamsaka. So a Priyanamsaka can't go to the most intimate places, they can't go into the kunjas. But they can help with a lot of the of Krishna's pastimes with the gopis. So then Madhu Mangalas advised him, one's well-being lies in remaining silent. So at this point, all the sakas surrounded Krishna and started clapping and laughing. One of the prayers to Radhika for her service is to be there and be one of the clappers and laughers when she defeats Krishna in arguments. So another pastime took here. Of course, the pastimes here are unlimited, but one of the pastimes here is that Radharani regularly comes here, as you just heard, for picking flowers. So Krishna knows that she's coming here regularly. So before she and her sakis arrived, Krishna jumped up onto a branch, it was a big branch, and he sat on it and he pressed it down with his body. You know, he can become lighter than an atom, heavier than the universe. So he pressed it down, and then there was a lot of foliage around, so he hid in the foliage. And he knew that she was going to pick from there because that particular branch had the most flowers. So she went to that branch, pulled down a little piece of it, and started picking the flowers. So just then, Krishna jumped off that branch and landed on another branch, which made that, would you like to realize that scene? Well, here it is. Here is Krishna jumping off that branch onto another. And what happened was the branch naturally flew up. And so Radharani flew up with the branch and started crying and calling for help. So Krishna, the big hero, is now on the ground, and he caught her and embraced her to bring her down. And so the sakis all began again clapping and laughing loudly, but Radharani was not that happy about it. She released herself from Krishna's embrace and scolded him harshly. So when Gurudev was assigning us to do these, you could tell it's a 3D thing, to do these bas reliefs like you see there in the windows. It's bas relief, bas means low in French. So it's not a round sculpting, but it's like a little bit raised. Some parts are a little more raised, some parts are a little less raised, some parts are flat. So Gurudev said some of the bas reliefs will be singles, some of them will be diptychs, and some of them will be triptychs, like you've seen perhaps in Christian art, where they have like 3 paintings in a row telling the story as it progresses. So that's what he wanted, diptychs and triptychs and singles. So you have the 3 there. And there's also line drawings. Can you also show the line drawings? Line drawings, the line strings.
Which one's the third one?
The third one is, here's number, no, I don't think we have 3. We don't have 3.
Okay.
But we have the 3 line drawings. The reason that we don't have 3
Bas reliefs.
bas reliefs is because even though Gurudev writes that Krishna hid in the foliage, we made him obviously there. And we couldn't change it once it's on a painting, a bas reliefs. But we could change the line drawings. That was possible. So I think the line drawings have 3, and then Krishna's hiding. Okay. So we again bow down to Krishna Sarobha, and this temple was built in 1767, by a Maharaj Jabahara. What he did was, he was a king in Bharatpur, and then he went to Delhi and his men looted the Delhi treasury, and he took that money and built this temple. All right, so now let's go to Uddakund. Didn't we go to Uddakund before?
No, if we're starting from Kusum's River, then we go to Radhakund. Yeah,
Well,
no, Uddakund.
Uddakund is on the way. Uddakund is on the left, on the way to Radhakund. I guess Gurdjieff did that in different ways in different years. Okay, so Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And here we are at Uddakund on the right. Let us offer obeisances, roll on the ground.
Isn't there, after Kusum's River, there's also Narada?
Naradakund is also there. I think we already went to Naradakund, didn't we? Well, we offer our obeisances to Naradakund because we do pass by it. Narada wanted to, yeah, we read extensively about that. Narada wanted to be a gopi. So he did austerities. Yogamaya came to him, dipped him in Naradakund. He came out as a gopi, but he couldn't participate in the ras. Gurudev said he was like Gopaswar Mahadev, like a card or something. Sometimes he says one thing, sometimes he says another thing. And he became Naradi Gopi. But he always was Naradi Gopi, but this is just a pastime of how he became Narada Gopi. But he's actually eternally Narada Gopi because all relationships are eternal. You can't get a new one. Right, so here we are at Uddakund. We go into the temple, first of all, and there's a very little temple with deities. We offer our obeisances, we go in the dust here. And then, you go in, and then the deities are on that side, and then you keep going, and there's a very big kund. So here we are at the kund, and we're sitting on these ledges, and now we're going to go down the steps and into the kund and do Achman. Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha, Om Vishnuvaya Namaha. And what are we praying? Oh, Uddakund, you saw so many beautiful pastimes of Krishna and the gopis and the queens of Dwarka here. So please be merciful and make our heart qualified so that you can, so that the pastimes here by your mercy will enter my heart. And now let's just dive in. You can dive in from one of the top things if you like. And let's swim around. And now come back, dry off, and we're going to hear about it. So who is Uddhav? Uddhav is a cousin, brother of Krishna in Dwarka, in Mathura. And he was the most qualified associate of Krishna, who could understand the most of Krishna's heart. So he was the one who was qualified to go to Braj for Krishna in order to learn the two-letter word. It's four letters. It's four letters in English, and it's two Sanskrit letters in Sanskrit, and the word is prem. He had to learn the meaning of the word prem from the gopis so that he would be qualified when he comes back to Mathura to console Krishna in his separation from the gopis because he was devastated. So he went to Braj and he met the gopis. He saw Radharani speaking with the bumblebee in separation from Krishna, thinking that the bumblebee was a messenger from Krishna, and practically on her deathbed, lying down, conscious, unconscious. Yeah, this is it. Good. yeah, so he couldn't enter that intimate part of the kunj, so where she was lying, so he was a little bit outside, on his knees and with folded palms. And then she was speaking to the bumblebee, "Oh, bumblebee, don't touch me. You're contaminated. I see on your whiskers. They're reddish, oranges. I know why they are. That's because you were sitting on Krishna's garland when he embraced one of the Mathura princesses, and then the saffron particles, saffron powder for breast, got on Krishna's garland, which you were sitting on, and so you got all saffrony, what are those things? Whiskers. And the bee said, "This is my natural color." And they were having a conversation. And Gurudev said, actually, very possible that bee was Krishna himself, who took the form of bee. He goes to all lengths to understand Radha's mood, and to taste it. Yeah. So anyways, that was Uddhava. But then it turns out, so he gave them the message. Wasn't a message that they appreciated very much. Then he went back to Krishna. Then he was glorifying the gopis. There are many verses in the Bhagavatam glorifying the gopis, like I pray only that I may become a shrub or a piece of grass, one grass or bush, bunch of grass in Vrindavan, so that when the gopis go for meeting Krishna, called Abhisar, when the gopis go for Abhisar with Krishna at night, the dust of their feet will fall on me, and then my life will be perfect. He also prayed, even the dust, Krishna's feet cannot even be attained by the greatest of shrutis, which the scriptures are searching for. These gopis own his lotus feet. And they take that lotus feet on their breasts, really for Krishna's pleasure. That's a whole long pastime itself. Then Uddhava was able to console Krishna. But when the gopis questioned him, questions like Krishna's love and our love was motiveless, it was pure. So how did it break? How come he never came back? How come he left us? All kinds of questions like that. So because Uddhava couldn't really answer them properly, he only got an 85 on the test. In the university where Radharani was the principal, Lalita and Vishaka were the headmasters. And so he failed. He couldn't pass the entrance examination. And so later when he was speaking to Narada Muni, he said, I got to tour the university a bit. That was it. Why? Because he was thinking, I couldn't stay here. They're suffering too much. He couldn't understand the blissful nature of their suffering. If I stay here, I might become like them. All right. So Uddhava is so great. Krishna told Uddhava, you're more dear to me than everybody. More dear than my brother Balaram. More dear than Lord Shiva, who is my very expansion of my form. More dear to me than my wife. And more dear to me than my very self. So this is Uddhava. But still, Uddhava told Narada that, yeah, I was thinking I was the greatest of Krishna's devotees, and I was the greatest recipient of his mercy. But then when I went to Braj and I saw the gopis, especially Radharani, my pride was pulverized, smashed. And I could see, looking up at their praying, I could see that mine was like a little chickpea, and their praying was like a mountain. So when I looked up, my hat fell from the back of my head. All right, so Uddhava Kund, under the guidance of Sandilya Rishi, Krishna's great-grandson, remember his name? Vajranava. He built this temple at Kund. So he resides here. He always resides here. In what form? Grass. Grass and shrubs, in order to be sprinkled with the dust of the gopis, the foot dust. So after the description, after the disappearance of Krishna, there is a description in the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya of the Skanda Purana, if you can remember that. There's a description of what happened after Krishna disappeared. So what happened when Krishna disappeared in Dwarka, because his expansion was in Dwarka, and his original form was always in Vrindavan. So the queens, his 16,108 queens, were deeply afflicted with sorrow. So once Vajranava came here with them, with the queens, with all of the 16,000 queens, and they loudly performed Sankirtan here. In that great Sankirtan, all the associates of Krishna also started to appear one by one. And then the associates of Dwarka, they participated in this Sankirtan. And Arjuna, remember Arjuna the warrior? He was dancing and playing mridanga, of all things. So suddenly, the great soul, Uddhav, emerged from the grass in the form of Uddhav. And he also became immersed in the dancing. So in that case, this was the Maha, or great Sankirtan. So in that case, how could Krishna not appear? So Krishna also came there with Radharani and all the Sakis, and they all engaged in the Sankirtan Ras. Sankirtan Ras means what you do all the time, Sankirtan Ras. The Ras, or mellow taste of Sankirtan. Well, we try to do Sankirtan. Like when I do it, it's Sankirtan Aparad Ras. Ras Aparad. So anyway, be that as it may. Then after some time, they also disappeared. So Srila Prabhupada said, this is quoted by my godbrother, what's his name, who made the first songbook? Achyutananda. Achyutananda, my godbrother, he was the first one to really spend some time in India, like around 1970 or so. He learned Bengali, and then he learned the Bengali Bhajans, and then he made the first ISKCON songbook. And so he quotes Prabhupada as saying there that Kirtan Ras is the safest situation in the material world. Isn't that great? You probably feel at least a shadow of it when you're doing that, like last night. Now here it says, pilgrims performing Parikrama of Sri Govardhan proceed along the Parikrama path till they arrive at Radhakund. So it's different in the different years. And now we're going there, going to Radhakund. Okay, Radhakund is just, we walk out.
Make sure you give nice pranami to the Pujari who's here to say.
Oh yeah, let's give pranami means little donation to the Pujari here. Let's offer our obeisances again and do Sankirtan all the way to Radhakund. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And here we are. Let's turn left. And here we are. So many beautiful pastime places at Radhakund. Don't play. Okay, so there's quotes from various scriptures about the glories of Radhakund. O Radhakund, you destroy sins and you award liberation. So we hope to get that benediction here. You award liberation in the form of praying. The different Puranas are filled with innumerable descriptions of the glories of these two Kunds Radhakund and Shamakund. So the Kunds were there 5,000 years ago, and then everything gets lost in the course of time. So the Kunds had practically disappeared. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, he was looking for Radhakund, because that's the highest place in existence. And he was asking the villagers, and they said, oh, no, but there is a Kali Kate and a Gauri Kate. They were like these two little things of water. And so he went in there, and he said, yes, this is Radhakund and Shamakund. And then he ordered his devotees to expand the Kund. How it all started was that one day Krishna killed a bull demon named Aristasura, and then he wanted to enjoy pastimes he was in the form of a bull, a big bull demon. Or as Gurudev would say sometimes, because English is not his mother tongue, he would say a bugbill named Aristasura. So he was destroying Braj wherever he could, and so Krishna killed him, giant monster bull. And so then he wanted to enjoy pastimes with Radharani and the gopis, and Radha said, don't touch us, you're contaminated, you killed a bull. He wasn't a bull, he was a demon. And then Radharani said, yeah, but he was in the form of a bull at that time. So you did get covered with sin. Well, how can I make up for my sin? You have to bathe in all the holy rivers of the world. So Krishna said, okay. And he called for all the holy rivers. They all came before him in their personified form. And then he asked them, he made a big area with his foot, and then he invited them in to that big hole, and they all jumped in, and that became Shamakund. So the gopis decided, well, we want to have a bigger one, a bigger, better Kund. So they started digging up the earth near Shamakund with their bracelets. And then, but no water came in. So Krishna said, I could give you water from my Kund. No, thank you. So then Krishna told those personified holy places to beg Radharani to please let us come in your Kund. So she was pleased by their prayers, and then it also flowed in. So in between Radhakund, let's see if I can find that, in between Radhakund and Shamakund, well, you can sort of see it here. In between Radhakund and Shamakund, what you're seeing now is a little strip of land and temples on that land. And there is a ghat, means steps going down into the pond, and that's where devotees, we stand. You can see all the people there. If you want to pass that around very quickly, because I'll need it in a minute. Very quickly, you can see all the little tiny people there. Not pass it out like that, just go walk around. So that's where Gurudev and the devotees stand, and then they go in and take bath right there. And Gurudev also goes in and takes bath. So it looks like two different kunds with this land in the middle, but actually they both flow into each other. It's because really Radha and Krishna are one. Okay. Can I have it back? Are you finished?
It's late.
Actually, thank you.
Yeah, just by striking his heel on the ground, this whole big area came. And now here we are, when Lord Chaitanya came, so this is where he sat. This is Tamal Tal, where Lord Chaitanya sat. Let's really try to take the dust of his feet here, the most merciful, magnanimous Krishna covered by the bob and the complexion of Srimati Radhika. And because Lord Chaitanya offered his respects to Radhika and Nityananda. This is where he sat, Tamal Tala. And if we go inside there, then we could see his actual sitting place right here. Offering obeisances there, taking the dust from the ground. And then, so after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das Goswami, who was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's one of the prominent of the 6 Goswamis. It's distracting. If you're moving, it's distracting. Okay, so he's one of the prominent of the 6 Goswamis. Rupa Raghunath are the main of the 6 Goswamis. So he was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for a long time in Puri, and then when Mahaprabhu disappeared from the face of the world, he couldn't bear living practically, because he was seeing every atom of Jagannath Puri reminded him of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you're having a great time with somebody, and then if they die or if they leave you for another man or woman or whatever, then thinking about them again brings sorrow. First being with them was joyful, and then remembering all those incidences, it just brings sadness. So the same thing, but not in the Prabhupada reflection, happened to Raghunath Das Goswami. So he couldn't bear staying in Puri, so he decided he was going to go to Vrindavan and jump off Govardhan or jump into the Jamuna and drown. It's not so easy though to do that, but he actually planned to do that. I mean, we may think of doing that sometimes, but it's not so easy because we're so attached to the body. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he went there to Vrindavan, and Rupa and Sanatan were there to give him their shelter, and Sanatan Goswami convinced him that you're not going to get Krishna like that, you'll get Krishna by doing bhajan. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he was performing his bhajan at Radhakund, and once a Mughal emperor, Akbar, he was making his way along the path with his vast army. The Kund wasn't big yet. And the emperor's divisions of men, elephants, horses, you can imagine he's a whole emperor. So what a big army he has. And camels were very thirsty. So he said, is there any big pond nearby? And so Raghunath Das motioned to him, you can feed everybody there at Kali Kate and Gauri Kate. Do you know what Kali Kate and Gauri Kate mean? Kali means black, and Gauri means white or golden. Kate is like a little thing of water. So the emperor thought, this water isn't even sufficient for one man, or to speak of a whole army. Even one single elephant, there isn't enough water to feed that. So how can my whole army quench their thirst? However, on a repeated request of Raghunath Das Goswami, he encouraged his men to drink, and in their amazement, the whole army, of the horses and camels and elephants and men, infantry, they all fully quenched their thirst.
Does that mean they all end up getting brain?
Huh?
Does that mean they all end up eventually getting brain?
Eventually.
Oh, cool.
Eventually is a very wide word.
Tit.
And the ponds didn't even reduce even a tiny bit. So then after performing bhajan here for a long time, the thought of restoring and making bigger the 2 kunds entered his mind. But when he remembered the transcendental glories of Radha Kund from his realizations, then he began to reproach himself for thinking like this, because he knew that the Kund is eternally manifest. So who am I to try to build it and change its shape? At that moment, a wealthy person just sees the nature of the pure devotee. He just thinks something and it happens. Gurudev said once that whatever a pure devotee thinks to happen will happen. And he said, once I prayed that, or thought that if my name chanting is pure, this will happen, and then it happened. So that all of a sudden, as he was thinking like this, a wealthy person from Bhadrik Ashram, that's where Srila Vyasadeva lives, up in the mountains, looking for a topmost renunciate, who was actually going there looking for Raghunath Das Goswami. So he offered his prostrated obeisances to Das Goswami, and he said, I am returning from the pilgrimage in Bhadrik Ashram. Bhagavan Sri Badri Narayan, who's the deity there at Bhadrik Ashram, he sent me to you. Here's the thing, that God works in all these wonderful ways with his devotees. And this just is reminding me quickly of Srinivasacharya. When he arrived in Vrindavan, Krishna, Rupa, and Sanatan told Jiva Goswami that he's going to be there, crying in the corner at the Radha Damodar temple. So take him, give him your shelter, and then give him to Gopal Bhatta Goswami for initiation. And then Gopal Bhatta Goswami also got dictation. So this is how it works in that realm. So on his order, I'm offering to cover all the expenses required to restore those two ponds to the original charming forms. Kindly accept my offer. So Das Goswami became speechless. He couldn't say no because it came from Krishna himself. So earlier he had rejected the idea, but now, knowing that it's the desire of Radha and Krishna, he began to work on constructing these two guns. So he made Radha Kund like a rectangle, no problem. But then he was going to do the same thing with Shama Kund, because it wasn't in irregular shape. But then he had a dream, and in the dream, you know the five Pandavas, Krishna's cousin brothers in Dwarka, great pure devotees. They appeared to him in the dream and said, please don't cut us down, because you have to cut down trees in order to make the shape. Please don't cut us down. We're in the form of trees here performing bhajan. So don't cut us down. So then, till today, the form of Shama Kund is crooked because Krishna is crooked, and Radha Kund is a nice rectangle. So, as we discussed yesterday, the kunjas of the gopis are all there, well, here we are, surrounding Radha Kund. So there's a kund of Lalita called Lalitanandana, the kund that gives pleasure to Lalita. And it's shaped like a golden, like you can try and imagine it, but that'll remain as imagination. When we get realization, we'll be able to see it. Which is shaped like a golden, you know what a kunj is, it's a secluded grove. So this one is shaped like a golden 8-petaled lotus. Then in the northeast is Vishakanandana, with the bejeweled kunja of Vishakasaki, which is shaped like a 16-petaled lotus. In the east is Chitranandana, the kunja of Chitrasaki. And you know how we just sold all those crystals. So it's described in the Goswami's literature that her dress, her garments, are like the color of crystal. And because Chitra is an artist, Gurudev said in Vrindavan that in Varsana, that Chitra Devi, one of the 8 most intimate Sakis of Srimati Radhika, she's Shamarani's art teacher. So because she's an artist, her kund displays an amazing varieties of forms and colors. In the southeast is Induleka. Indu means moon. So it's shaped like an 8-petaled lotus and is made of diamonds. In the south is Champaka Utasaki. She's a good cook. Shaped like a golden lotus. In the southwest is Ramadevi, shaped like a blue sapphire. It's inlaid with blue sapphires. And Tungavidya, made of red rubies. And Sudevi, inlaid with emeralds. And in the center of Radhakund, okay, so here's Radhakund and Shamakund. And in the middle is that piece of land where all the devotees were standing, and that's called the yoga pit where they meet. And one second, here, right in the middle over here, right in the middle of Radhakund, there's Swananda Sukhada Kunj, which is the Kunj of Ananga Manjari. Ananga Manjari is the younger sister of Krishna, of Radha. And you can see I started saying Balaram because just like Balaram is the older brother of Krishna, and he serves Krishna. He's the first expansion of Krishna, and he serves Krishna in all the rasas. In creation, as a brother, in a parental mood, as a servant, friend, but he also wants to serve in the amorous mellows. So he serves in the amorous mellows in 2 ways. You know what they are? One, Balaram is Dhameswara. He's the personification of the Sandhini or existence potency of Krishna, which makes him the land. So as the land in those secluded groves, he gets to see things. And then secondly, he manifested as not at any time, he's eternally Ananga Manjari, Radharani's younger sister. Krishna's older brother and Radha's younger sister. And then furthermore, he or she, Ananga Manjari, it's much better now, became Janavadevi, the power consort of Nityananda Prabhu, who was also Baladev. What?
So Manu Mangal and Subha Kunj, why?
Yes, so the Priyanam Sakas also have kunjas around Shamakund. And then here it's stated that in the northwestern area of Shamakund is a delightful place made of diamonds, emeralds, and other precious stones where Radhika daily takes bath. She takes bath also in Shamakund. North of this place is Subalanandada Kunj, which Subalsaka has given to Srimati Radhika. And then, so she and Krishna take rest here. In the northern part of Shamakund is the Kunja of Madhu Mangal, Madhu Mangalanandana, which is inlaid with white jewels, and he gave that kunj to Lalita. So Radha and Krishna enjoy merriment there. and lots of laughter because you know Mother Mangal, he's a jokester. Then Ujjwala Saka, another intimate Priyanam Saka, he gave his kunj called Ujjwalanandada, made of red jewels, and he gave that to Vishaka. And then it goes on and on. Arjun gave his kunj made of blue sapphires to Chitra. And then there's Gandharva is another one of the intimate sakas. So gradually we get to learn more and more Priyanam sakas. So Gandharva Nandara, he gave his with many colors and forms to Gandharva. So he's Gandharva Saka, and he gave it to Induleka. So it goes on and on explaining that. So as we mentioned yesterday, I think, Gurudev writes that the Priyanam Sakas can go to Radha Kund, but only very rarely when Krishna wants them to for a specific purpose.
We heard that some of those kunds are the kunjas of the Priyanam Sakis. Does that mean that's where, and those Priyanam Sakis are their own, I think they're Ruteshwaris. They meet with Krishna independently too. Are those kunjas just for them to meet with Krishna, or for them to arrange meetings for Radha and Krishna?
Well, the thing about the Priyanam Sakis is that they meet with Krishna also, and their greatest happiness is to arrange meetings with Radha and Krishna there. So both. Then there's one verse in the Lalita Devi Astakam, can you find that?
The best of all
That's
festivals.
the best of all of her festivals is when she can arrange meetings with Radha and Krishna. And she'll always take Radharani's side.
Page 3. Radha Jendra Sutta. Oh,
Yeah, we have to end. So just very quickly. Yeah, so it's the greatest of her festivals. Then Janava, as we just mentioned, Janava, who is Ananga Manjari in Chaitanya Lila, and the potency of Nityananda, Balaram. This is her sitting place where she came and sat and did bhajan in Radhakund. Then this is Raghunath Das Goswami's Samadhi Mandir and Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Bhajan Kuti here. And we can circumambulate that very quickly. Okay, we did it. It's amazing. It's like this marble mirror or something. And then there's a picture of Raghunath Das Goswami inside. And here we are. We just went inside. So here's Raghunath Das Goswami when he was doing bhajan at Radhakund. And Sanatana Goswami was worried about him because Sanatana Goswami, when Raghunath Das Goswami was oblivious to what was happening externally, and so he was sitting and doing bhajan at Radhakund, and then Sanatana Goswami saw two tigers go there, drink water and go away. So he told Raghunath Das that he'll help him build a bhajan kutir so he can do his bhajan inside. And then another time, as you can see here, you can see, it was really hot in the middle of the day, and there was no shade. So you see this girl just behind Raghunath Das Goswami. Of course, that's Radharani, and she always likes to serve her devotees. So she came and made her own veil, like an umbrella, over the head of Raghunath Das. And so here's inside his Bhajan Kuti, you can see here. You can offer obeisances at these places, roll in the dust at these places. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, all their samadhis are all here. Raghunath Das Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj, Raghunath here. You just bow down here. because we're doing a major Parikrama there. Then there's Jiva Tila, which is the tongue of Giriraj. You bow down here. And the Lita Kund, Lita, this is her Kund. You can take Achman at this Kund, Om Keshavaya Nama, Om Narayana Nama, Om Madhavaya Nama, Om Govindaya Nama, Vishnave Namaha. Jump in, jump out. You can think of all the pastimes you've ever heard. That included Lolita. Then we want to go to Sri Kunja Bihari, Gaudiya Math, just on the Parikrama path of Radha Kund, which is, I think, established by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And then so many other
Hey,
places.
where's the place in Radhakund where was it Sanatana Goswami or Rupa Goswami who saw Radharani's hair like a snake?
So Rupa Goswami would write his books, like Chatur Pushpanjali, poems, prayers, and Sanatana Goswami said, "Hey, what are you writing?" And so Rupa Goswami said, here, if you'd like to take a look at it, maybe you can see if there's any corrections. So Sanatana Goswami read that Radharani's hair is just like a serpent, like a lady serpent, lady snake. And then Sanatana Goswami was thinking, this is not the best of analogies for soft, sweet Radharani's hair. He said, okay, I'll meditate on it and think of a correction. So then he was walking back to his Bhajan Kutir, and he saw that there was by one tree, there was a girl, beautiful, but just a regularly dressed girl. She was swinging on a swing, and her friends were swinging her. And so all of a sudden he saw this snake slithering up her back onto her neck. And he called out, "Lolly, Lolly, dear darling daughter, there's a snake there, be careful." And all of a sudden, the girl disappeared, the swing disappeared, the friends disappeared, and then he realized, yes, Rupa Goswami could never make a mistake. Oh, here we are. This is a close-up of that yoga pit where the two kunds meet, where we all stand with Gurudev, and where we go down the ghat to go down the steps to take bath. And did you already take bath? You didn't take bath? Oh my God. Jump in, swim, think of whatever pastimes you've heard and can remember. We have Krishna, Radha Kund on one side, Krishna Kund on the other side, Shama Kund on the other side. And yeah. And here's a map. Okay, doesn't that tell you a lot?
Everything.
Yeah, so here's Shama Kund, Radha Kund, and many other places. You can look at this at your leisure. And let's offer our obeisances and go back to the temple. And here we are at the temple and offering our obeisances to our deities and Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Sati has some announcements, what we're going to discuss today.